Hello! It is December 18th and it is almost Christmas Day. Just 1 week to go. And remember, Christmas is a time where you can be happy and generous. And you can smile at people and, regard them and say, hello there. How do you do? And it is a time you can do nice things for people, open a door for someone, or maybe you could pay the tip for someone. You could buy someone at Starbucks, buy someone a drink. Why not? It is a time where you can be generous and spread goodwill. I don't mean give people used clothes. I mean it is something like peace and something like a good feeling. It is hard to describe, but it's, that's what I thought that the Christmas time is all about. Right now, we can't buy each other expensive gifts. But remember, 2,000 years ago, God, the Creator, if you see there are these figures of two people and a baby, and then there might be animals, and there could be these three guys with staves. You know what staves are. And sometimes there's a star, right? A bright star. It's some kind of scene. It's called the nativity scene. We must remember that 2,000 years ago again, that God came as a baby. He was born of a virgin. And he is the creator of the universe, of everything we see. And according to the Holy Bible, he created humans too. But for some reason, he wanted to come, be born as one of us, just like one of us, and look like one of us. It is God in the flesh. It is when God became a man. But he was not merely a man. He was fully God and fully human. Sometimes I say that. It doesn't make sense. How could you be fully God and fully human? Yet he was. He was fully God and fully human. So they call it the reason for the season. Jesus is the reason for the season. Sometimes we don't care for reasons. Why? Who cares? But, Christmas is a holiday, and we celebrate holidays in a certain way. We have the Christmas tree, and we could decorate the Christmas tree, and we give Christmas gifts. And we usually have something like a Christmas Eve meal, right? The day before Christmas, you have a wonderful meal, and it's you eat a lot. And what I mentioned before, it is a time where we could be nicer to each other. Leading up to Christmas, everyone could think about being nicer to each other. But why do we do it sometimes? You don't know, but that is the reason, because God came to be born as a baby. So Christmas, the 25th of December, is Jesus the Lord, Jesus Christ's birthday. Okay, let's continue with 1 Samuel 20. The next section is titled David and Jonathan. So remember, they are not a couple. No. It's true, Jonathan likes David, but David probably always had to say, no man, I'm not gay. Remember, I'm married to your sister, Michelle. So this title for the next section, the story, the two main characters are David and Jonathan. Then David fled from Naioth at Ramah. Remember, Saul is actively, trying to kill David. He really started to not like David. And then he found out his daughter loves David, and he started to even hate David, probably. So he sent people to, like assassins or ninjas to try to kill David. But remember, he ran away and found Samuel, sort of hid behind him. Help me, Samuel, help. And then Samuel, he is the top prophet, like a Jedi, top Jedi, like Obi-Wan Kenobi. Then he called other Jedis, other prophets, and they started to prophesy. They probably stood there and, you're not getting David. You're going to get through us if you want to kill David. And somehow, Samuel and the prophets defeated Saul and his assassins by using control you power. It's like prophesy, control you power. And made him, not fight him and act in some bizarre way. They lied down, didn't fight. But now David is running away again. He's like, he doesn't know what's going on, because you remember David is actually younger, like a young man. So he's running, and he went to Jonathan and asked, "What have I done? What is my crime? How have I wronged your father that he is trying to kill me?" "Never," Jonathan replied. "You are not going to die. Look, my father doesn't do anything, great or small, without letting me know. Why would he hide this from me? It isn't so." So he's lying to David. But David took an oath and said, "Your father knows very well that I have found favor in your eyes, and he has said to himself, 'Jonathan must not know this, or he will be grieved.' Yet as surely as the Lord lives, and as you live, there is only a step between me and death." Jonathan said to David, "Whatever you want me to do, I'll do it for you." So David said, "Look, tomorrow is the new moon the new moon feast. So tomorrow is the beginning of the month. Believe me, it's the beginning of the month. And I am supposed to dine with the king. But let me go and hide in the field until the evening of the day after tomorrow. If your father misses me at all, tell him David earnestly asked my permission to hurry to Bethlehem." So let me translate for you what's going on. David is Saul's son-in-law, but he wants to kill him. So he's supposed to dine with the king. That means he's family with Saul. So in the beginning of the month, it was the Jewish people's custom. That's like a mini holiday. So, it's like Sunday when you have brunch with your family. So he's supposed to show up, because remember, his wife, Michal, is Saul's daughter. So they're just going to get together and eat. And how's he supposed to eat with his in-laws when his father-in-law wants to kill him? So if Saul misses David at all, that means if he seems to be nuts, where's David? Where's David? Where is David? He's supposed to come eat with us. Where is he? Because he wants to kill him. If Saul seems like that, tell him, he's asking Jonathan, tell your father, David earnestly asked my permission to hurry to Bethlehem, his hometown. because an annual sacrifice is being made there for his whole clan. So that was his excuse, you know. He had to go home because there's another, you know, I'm sorry, I cannot make it because I have a prior engagement. That's usually how you said, oh, I made a commitment to go. I forgot, you know, I told someone that I would be somewhere else. You know, pardon? You know, if he says, very well, then your servant is safe. But if he loses his temper, you can be sure that he is determined to harm me. As for you, show kindness to your servant, for you have brought him into a covenant with you before the Lord. If I am guilty, then kill me yourself. Why hand me over to your father? Never, Jonathan said, if I had the least inkling that my father was determined to harm you, wouldn't I tell you? So he's lying again. David asked, who will tell me if your father answers you harshly? Come, Jonathan said, let's go out into the field. So they went there together. Then Jonathan said to David, I swear by the Lord, the God of Israel, that I will surely sound out my father by this time, the day after tomorrow, if he is favorably disposed toward you. Will I not send you word and let you know? Okay, remember the fields. There's something called the fields and the wilderness. Some of you watched my earlier videos. When you were fighting the enemy and they were running away from you, they're running away from you because you're going to kill them. You know, you won't let them get away usually. But they're supposed to run somewhere else, you know. I don't know where they're supposed to run because you're going to kill them. They're dead, you know. But if they have to run somewhere, they're supposed to run to the wilderness, you know, where it could be a forest or a desert. And then when you kill them, you know, that blood that is spilt on the ground is, you know, way out there. But sometimes they would run into the field, which is where you have crops, you know, that is where your food is grown. And then they just force you to kill them where your food is grown. And then, you know, you will be very upset because now there's blood on your crops, you know, like your wheat and, you know, your what else did they have? Barley and your, you know, other foods like that, your fruits and vegetables. But more your fruits, you know, more your vegetables. Your fruits are grown on trees, you know. So they went out to the field, you know, because they're warriors. So it's, you know what I mean? Like, if I need to tell you something, and you might not believe me, and, you know, this person is the prince, you know, so he could lie to you anywhere. I don't know how to explain it. You know, he could lie to you anywhere because he's the prince, and, you know, everything he sees is his, sort of, you know. So he'll just go to somewhere. Remember, you have your territory, and there's somewhere like the fields and the wilderness. So I guess she's not gonna talk to you in the wilderness because, you know, that's way out there, you know. So I guess, you know, Jonathan is sort of saying, okay, you know, you might believe me, you know, because we are neither in the wilderness or in my kingdom, you know. You're sort of in the fields, you know. So then Jonathan said to David, you know, I swear by the Lord, the God of Israel, that I will surely sound out. So he will tell him the truth. If he is favorably disposed toward you, will I not send you word and let you know? But if my father intends to harm you, may the Lord deal with Jonathan, be it ever so severely, if I do not let you know and send you away in peace. May the Lord be with you as he has been with my father. But show me unfailing kindness, like the Lord's kindness, as long as I live, so that I may not be killed. And do not ever cut off your kindness from my family line, from my family, not even when the Lord has cut off every one of David's enemies from the face of the earth. So Jonathan made a covenant with the house of David, saying, May the Lord call David's enemies to account. And Jonathan had David reaffirm his oath out of love for him, because he loved him as he loved himself. Then Jonathan said to David, Tomorrow is the new moon feast. You will be missed, because your seat will be empty. The day after tomorrow, toward evening, go to the place where you hid when this trouble began, and wait by the stone Ezel. I will shoot 3 arrows to the side of it, as though I was shooting at a target. Then I will send a boy and say, Go, find the arrows. If I say to him, Look, the arrows are on this side of you, bring them here. Then come, because as surely as the Lord lives, you are safe. There is no danger. But if I say to the boy, Look, the arrows are beyond you, then you must go, because the Lord has sent you away. And about the matter you and I discussed, remember, the Lord is witness between you and me forever. So David hid in the field, and when the new moon feast came, the king, that Saul, sat down to eat. He sat in his customary place by the wall opposite Jonathan, and Abner sat next to Saul, but David's place was empty. Saul said nothing that day, for he thought, Something must have happened to David to make him ceremonially unclean. Surely he is unclean. But the next day, the 2nd day of the month, David's place was empty again. Then Saul said to his son, Jonathan, Why hasn't the son of Jesse come to the meal either yesterday or today? Jonathan answered, David earnestly asked me for permission to go to Bethlehem. He said, Let me go, because our family is observing a sacrifice in the town, and my brother has ordered me to be there. If I have found favor in your eyes, let me get away to see my brothers. That is why he has not come to the king's table. Saul's anger flared up at Jonathan, and he said to him, You son of a perverse and rebellious woman, don't I know that you have sided with the son of Jesse, to your own shame, and to the shame of the mother who bore you? As long as the son of Jesse lives on this earth, neither you nor your kingdom will be established. Now send someone to bring him to me, for he must die. Why should he be put to death? What has he done? Jonathan asked his father. But Saul hurled his spear at him to kill him. Then Jonathan knew that his father intended to kill David. Saul did not try to kill his son. In verse 33, what Saul did was he just threw his spear at the wall. And of course, he's strong, so he just went into the wall. And you know what I mean? Here's the wall. Some people will just sort of, what is the word? Sort of gassed. Let me look up the word. Some words are very strange. What is the sound of a ghast? It is. No. What language is the word ghast? It is English, and this is a very old word. The meaning of ghast is ghastly, or maybe they will gasp. Maybe there's a gasp with a P, but no H. I was thinking of ghast, Ghast, but let's look up the meaning of the word gasp, Gasp. When you gasp, it is to catch the breath convulsively and audibly, as with shock. Okay, some of you might be in shock when you understand, how he was throwing the spear. This is the wall, and then he throws the spear into the wall like that, boom, and it just. Do I have a pen? Here. Okay, that's how strong Saul was. A spear is long, six or more feet long. So he just throws something that's that long, and it goes flying into the wall. Boom, and it ends up like this. That's how strong Saul was. A 6 foot or 7 foot spear right into the wall like that. You would just gasp like, whoa. So when Saul did that in front of his son, he did not try to kill his son. Because Saul, of course, he loves his son, But when his son saw him do that, he probably never saw him try to throw it at David when he was playing the lyre. Then David's friend, right? Jonathan. Then Jonathan knew that his father really, now he can see, he knows his father wants to kill David. So verse 34, Jonathan got up from the table in fierce anger. On that second day of the feast, he did not eat because he was grieved at his father's shameful treatment of David. In the morning, Jonathan went out to the field for his meeting with David. He had a small boy with him. And he said to the boy, "Run and find the arrows I shoot." As the boy ran, he shot an arrow beyond him. When the boy came to the place where Jonathan's arrow had fallen, Jonathan called out after him, "Isn't the arrow beyond you?" Then he shouted, "Hurry, go quickly, don't stop." The boy picked up the arrow and returned to his master. The boy knew nothing about this. Only Jonathan and David knew. Then Jonathan gave his weapons to the boy and said, "Go, carry them back to the town." After the boy had gone, David got up from the south side of the stone and bowed down before Jonathan 3 times with his face to the ground. So it's a bow, not a. He wasn't kneeling down on the ground. He just bowed face very respectfully, slow, facing the ground. Like in the Lord of the Rings. If you've seen the Lord of the Rings, sometimes they have this very dignified. Like they'll look at each other. This very dignified, slow, dignified bow to the ground. So he did that, honoring Jonathan with his face to the ground. Then they kissed each other. Remember, it's not quite a kiss, like a bro hug, and then the face is near the face, and wept together. So they don't weep. Weep is like you just put your head down again. Like one person's here, right, and one person's here. These are their heads. When they wept, all they did was they just put their heads down like this, both of them. Is your head down? Yep. Is your head kind of down? Yep. So they're not actually, no, they're not weeping. So remember, it's like a bro hug. That's like the kiss. And the face comes near the other face. Because you have to remember, a long time ago, people did not have any emotional marbles. They did not even know how to cry. You may have a grandfather. You're like, grandfather, you don't cry. I never seen you cry. And then your grandfather might look at you like, and you might think he doesn't even know what crying is. So a long time ago, these people were not emotional at all. They don't. They like, what is that? And then you wonder, do you even have tear ducts? Let me look at your head. And then you want to poke at them. Let me spray something in your eyes. You tear up. It's true that people back then were like savages compared to us now. So there was like a bro hug, and the face came near the face, and then the head just went down like this. That's called weeping. Now weeping, no tears, no tears. But David wept the most. So David's head was like downcast, That's weeping, So his head was more like that, downcast. Well, obviously, he has problems. The king wants to kill him. Jonathan said to David, "Go in peace, for we have sworn friendship with each other in the name of the Lord, saying, the Lord is witness between you and me, and between your descendants and my descendants forever." Then David left, and Jonathan went back to the town. So, remember, this is a story, so, there's a pastor I heard of, a famous one, P.E. He noticed something. Whenever someone's famous, there are all these groups of people that want to claim him, and then they'll project whatever they are onto that person. So, for example, Jesus Christ is actually very, very famous, and he's a good guy, So let's say there are these bikers. They'll just say, I think Jesus, he was a biker. And then you're like, what? And then there are people who like to paint, right? And they're artists, I think Jesus was very artistic. Let me look at what he said here. It's very deep, They just project what they are onto them. So let's be fair. No one tried to claim Jonathan. I said that he's gay, but he actually could not actually be gay, like homosexual. He could just be the first person to be that kind, like a very kind person, like a very genuine person. And I said back then they're like savages. So even King David was like, I'm unaccustomed to a man being that kind, because they also spoke differently back then. So Jonathan could actually not be gay, but he was very fair, very kind, and then he maybe spoke a different way, he spoke a little differently. Remember, because I said this is a long time ago, so they don't speak the way we speak now. But then maybe Jonathan spoke a little nicer, like classier, and then he seemed gay. So that is 1 Samuel 20. So the way the story ends is Jonathan is warning David and is telling him to run. Because it's true, His father is going to kill him. It's either David kills Saul or Saul kills David. It's that serious, I think so. Because, remember, Saul said something to Jonathan. Let's read it. He called him a son of a perverse... let's find the exact verse. Hold on for a second. When he was eating with his father, he called him, "You son of a perverse and rebellious woman. Don't I know that you have sided with Jesse's son?" He said, "Don't you understand?" I'll translate it for you. "As long as David lives, neither you nor your kingdom will be established." So, that's what Saul believes. He believes that if he allows David to live, then his kingdom will come to an end. He wants his kingdom to keep going on. But remember, God said your kingdom is coming to an end. God is not with him. Right? Remember, keep God first. He'll take you places.